We are live.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Stories for Hope, Healing, and Belonging. This is our last story series until the fall. So thank you for joining us, those who are out in the world, and we hope you enjoy the stories today. It's been a pleasure spending time with everyone over the last several months.
Absolutely.
So we'll start off with the big umbrella.
Woohoo.
Over to you, Mel.
The Big Umbrella is written by Amy June Bates and co-written by Juniper Bates. By the front door, there is an umbrella. It is big. It is a big, friendly umbrella. It likes to help. It likes to spread its arms wide. It loves to give shelter. It loves to gather people in. It doesn't matter if you are tall or hairy. Or plaid. It doesn't matter how many legs you have. But the amazing thing is, there is I think it skipped a little bit. There is maybe always room. There is always room. How lovely. All these beautiful people.
That's a seriously big umbrella.
Okay, David Jumps In is our next story by Alan Wu and Katie Morey. It was David's first day at his brand new school. He didn't know anyone. He had no friends to hang out with or trade tuna fish sandwiches. But bundled up deep in his pocket, a string of rubber bands, knotted and ready for a game of elastic skip. But who would want to play that? He wondered. When the recess bell rang, the kids raced into the sunshine, clamoring for first place at the swings, slides, and monkey bars. Hand in hand, they went ring around the rosy, linked arms in Red Rover rows. They wanted you to come over. Or hiding and seeking with shouts of, "Ready or not, here I come." Others practiced their California kicks, sending soccer balls flying through invisible nets. Some sat on the sidelines, blowing dandelions into a galaxy of stars. "Tag, you're it," an older boy hollered, chasing after his friend and winding up tangled in a double Dutch sing-along of bluebells, cockle shells, Evie, Ivy over. Do you want to play? David asked around. But the video game kids didn't hear him, didn't even look up. The bookworms, off on faraway adventures. David looked around nervously. What if nobody wanted to play with him? He spotted a few classmates, tired of hopscotching back and forth and back and forth. A 1-foot balancing act, throwing stones to land inside chalk-drawn squares. Taking a deep breath, he stepped toward them. Hey, he said shyly, I'm David. Do you want to play elastic skip? How do you play? Asked a friendly redheaded girl. David explained, the jumping and the chanting and the rubber bands. From his pocket, he pulled his chain link rainbow of red, blue, green, and yellow to create a new playing field where they stomped the ground with both feet, jumping in and out, shouting 2, 4, 6, 8. The next day at school, when the recess bell rang, David and his newfound friends raced into sunshine for a chance to be champions in a world of their own. That's the end. I didn't really read that in a way that sounded like the end, but it was. I want it to go on. That's the problem with these stories. What happens next?
Yes, I guess that's up to us.
Exactly. Perfect. We can use our imaginations all summer long to think about what happens next with David and his friends.
Oh my gosh, I that second one there, that really took me back. I'm thinking, do people still play hopscotch and double dutch and the, what do they call it? Elastic skip. I never had a name for that game. I remember carrying those elastics around, but I don't remember ever having a name for it.
It is interesting how some things change so much, and there's just the consistent things, the same songs that we all sing. And sometimes you stop yourself and think, like, is that really a song I want to be singing around children?
Yeah, I'd never heard that second story. It's a lovely story, and I was expecting you to be reading another couple of pages, Hannah. It was really lovely, and I thought how brave the boy was. You know, it's hard coming in, being trying to find your friend, somebody, your group, you know, where you belong. And I was nervous for him, you know, but it was such a lovely little story, wasn't it, to see everyone playing, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, oh, sorry, Angela, I think you're about to say something.
I was just, feeding off of what Mel said. I remember, growing up there, we moved quite a bit. So being the new kid in a school, yeah, just like, you're trying to be inconspicuous, but at the same time, you want to be out there talking and having friends and being part of the games and whatnot. So yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, ugh.
Sometimes with these stories, I like them to be a surprise while we're together. And so I often don't read all of the story, but when we're trying, like you're really good at choosing stories that fit together, but we were kind of rushed this week, and I just quickly looked through what books we had left, and I kind of read the start of it, and I thought, I think these two will work well together just from the little bit that I read of each. And I really like how they did connect together, because I think that idea of the umbrella is a really good metaphor for the next story, where I think, in our world and in our classrooms and wherever we might be, whatever our sphere of influence is, I think that hopefully we're all trying to create that sense of that umbrella that's big enough to cover everyone. And I really felt like that story kind of brought in that same idea where, you know, that, yeah, it took that courageousness of David to be able to put himself there and, you know, be vulnerable enough to go around and talk to people and see if he could find that connection. But ultimately those children did create that space, right? That they've invited him in and they've opened themselves up to trying something new. And I just think that was a really nice, those two connected nicely together, I think. And it made me think about the spaces that we create in our classrooms and how we can be that umbrella for all of the children in our programs.
Yeah. I also,
I really, sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Angela.
I was just thinking about the umbrella, the big umbrella story, and yeah, about not reading them so that we can be surprised, because the umbrella story, I found myself chuckling about, you know, even if you're hairy or even if you're plaid or whatever, and I thought, well, that's a great way to kind of open up a conversation about diversity, about people being different but still being welcoming, regardless, right? That we, you know, can all join together and we can include everybody. It's not that hard, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, not as well as yourself, Angela, but how it is a lovely story for the metaphor for inclusion. And just that page where at the beginning where the child has their arms out, you know, and the umbrella opens up, you know, welcoming. And I love seeing all of the feet and the legs and, you know, the ballerina and the big feet, big bird's feet. And it's such a lovely story. I think children would really love just seeing all of these, the hairy beast and everyone. Who else could they fit under the umbrella? And then at the last page, just to see the world, to see everyone and the diversity. I think it's just so lovely to visually to see, as well as, you know, knowing that everyone was included. And this is, we need happiness, you know, and they do link it so well together. But it's just like the big friendly umbrella.
I'm not sure if it's a sign of the times that we're in. I went down a little bit more a darker road. I know we're reading these stories for kids and also looking at, you know, how children will perceive the stories. But I started thinking about who holds the umbrella, who opens the umbrella, and you know, who creates the umbrella, and the weight of those who on those who end up being the ones to do that. You know, is this a time also to reflect on? And I think we've talked about this with other books before on how these are really good DEI tools for adults, really, to get people to think beyond what's presented on the page. You know, who creates these spaces, and where does the weight rest on? So
That's a really good question, Yvonne. Yeah, because it's so easy for that umbrella to make the choice about whether or not to open it up, right? Whether or not to include that really tall, how on earth can we possibly include you? You're way up there, right? And how do those decisions get made? And it's a power, that umbrella is a power relationship, right?
yeah, some people are in a position to open a bigger umbrella more quickly to include more people, and others are not. And who sees those who need to be sheltered? So yeah, sorry, a bit dark.
No. I
No.
think I think that's an important piece, and I love the way, Yvonne, you always add a kind of a really nuanced perspective on these stories as well. And yeah, absolutely. And I was just thinking, this might be a good story for a workshop. Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be interesting if I say, okay, a break right now, we're going to read a story and pull out the big umbrella story and just open up that conversation. I think that's coming to a workshop near you, the big umbrella.
Yeah. It really does. Well, it gives me a very different perspective of the book, thank you. And it really does speak to, yes, who is responsible, and that we are all responsible to do that. But it is that power, isn't it? Yes, who is in position of power, and acknowledging it, being aware of it, and what are we going to do with it? Yeah, there's so many. These children's books always amaze me, that the lessons, the insight, and the level that we can read them on, and then have conversations about, and for the awareness. On the inside, it's just such a lovely, fun book, but you've brought this whole other dimension to it that's something for me to think about.
Yeah. What it also makes me wonder is, is one umbrella sufficient, right? Maybe there's another conversation to say, maybe there need to be times when somebody needs a different umbrella, needs a different color umbrella. And that's what I'm thinking about now is, is there one big umbrella for everyone, or are there also opportunities to provide people, like a duck doesn't need an umbrella, right?
So opening up the conversation to explaining what equity and equality is, in a way, with the umbrella. Yeah.
Hey, and Angela, that connects really well to your duck activity that you do in your workshops.
Yes. Ooh, that's perfect. Yes. Yes. Right after I do that, I'm going to read a story. Oh, I love it. I love it. And this really speaks to why it's so important to actually, create that space to have these conversations, because you never know where they're going to go. And, we are looking at it from our own individual perspectives, our own lens, and without having the opportunity to engage people in that conversation, to find out, what it means to them and how they're perceiving it. That's, really about, like I said, creating that space to open up that conversation, because they go in wonderful directions. I mean, I always find with our conversations after the stories, the stories are important, but they teach us how to kind of reflect on what's being presented and how different people are going to look at it, and how obviously they connect with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the ways that we try to be as inclusive as possible, and be welcoming, and all of that. And so, just different ways to do it. But the conversations, I find, are, at least for me, I'm sure the kids are, more happy about the stories. But I think that for the parents, for the adults that are also listening to this, that the conversations, I hope, help them and give them some ideas about how they can create spaces, not only with their children, but with their family, with their social contacts, all of those kind of things. So now I'm thinking I'm going to miss it over the summer. I'm going to have to go and find my own stories to read.
Well, maybe we'll do some surprise stories and we'll post them on our page through the summer if any of us have time. If we're sitting down if we need a break, right? We can just jump on Zoom, record it, and Ropa's very kindly offered to post it for us. So maybe we'll do some surprise stories.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what will come up. And I've been seeing a lot of those, the little libraries that are around. I was up north on the weekend and actually started like rummaging through one of those. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot there for kids. It was more like, mysteries and magazines and stuff like that. But I'm thinking, that's something that I may take on over the summer. If I see one of those, to go and pop in and see if there's any good books there, stories that I would be interested to read and possibly record for our summer hiatus.
So I guess we are also taking recommendations from our fans. Facebook, to share books that they might like to recommend.
Yeah, and that would also be an opportunity to invite people in too, right? Like if they have a book that they're interested in us reading, to join us in the conversation, talk about, why they thought that book was something that we wanted to read or discuss or comment on it.
I think that's a really nice idea to invite some guest readers in this fall. Mhm.
Yes.
It was so nice to do drag story time last time, and
Oh,
I'd
and
love
I
to
was-
do that more.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that I missed that one because I was so looking forward to it, and then I looked at my calendar and went, uh-oh. Okay.
Well, we'll do it again.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great idea. But yeah, I think, this is as we take our little break to kind of put that out there for folks, as Yvonne says, our fans, to suggest books, or if they feel comfortable enough to join us in the conversation. I think that would be wonderful.
Okay, well, shall we leave it there for the summer?
Should we leave it there?
I'll miss the conversations, but I'll eagerly await all of the rich dialogue that we'll have this fall. And thank you so much to all of you. It's been such a lovely time to spend these mornings with you all. Really enjoy the perspective that you all bring, and it always leaves me thinking. I always feel very stimulated after these.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also for me, it also has a kind of a calming effect. And when we changed it from noon to 10, I was like, 10 o'clock in the morning. But actually, since we've been doing it, like, it's a great way to start the day, I find, right? Because it puts you in that good space to continue on with the day. And as you say, you reflect on it throughout the day after we've done the stories anyways. So. And I'm sure that our individual conversations will continue because, we move in the same circles. So there's always opportunities to chat and catch up and all of that. But in this platform, for sure, we'll just wish everybody a fun and safe summer. And we'll see you back in the fall.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. I've really enjoyed it, and I look forward to future stories.
Thanks. Happy summer.
Bye for
Bye-bye.
now.
Bye.